December 7th, 1941. It's just after 7:55 a.m. on a quiet Sunday morning in Hawaii. Sailors are eating breakfast, officers are reading letters from home, and the battleship of the US Pacific Fleet sits peacefully anchored in the harbor. Then the sky roars. Hundreds of Japanese aircraft descended from the clouds, torpedo bombers, dive bombers, and fighters, unleashing chaos. Battleship explode into flames. The USS Arizona erupts in a fireball. The Oklahoma rolls over and sinks with hundreds trapped inside. In just 90 minutes, over 2,400 Americans will be dead, and the United States will be thrust into World War II. But let's change one thing. Instead of a fleet of 1930s era battleships sitting idle in the harbor, imagine something no one in 1941 could ever comprehend. A single USS Zumwalt class destroyer, transported 80 years into the past. A 610-foot stealth warship, bursting with sensors, radars evading design, and enough firepower to level a city. Launched in 2013, the USS Zumwalt is one of the most advanced warships ever built. It's powered by a 78 megawatt integrated power system, enough electricity to light a small city, and can push its 15,000 tons of steel through the ocean at over 30 knots. Its radar signature is smaller than a fishing boat, and its combat system can track and engage dozens of targets at once. But its true strength is its armament. Two 155 mm advanced gun systems capable of firing precision-guided shells over 60 miles. Dozens of vertical launch system cells ready to fire Tomahawk cruise missiles, anti-air interceptors or surface-to-air missiles, and a sensor suite that can detect and track incoming aircraft hundreds of miles away. Now imagine all of that dropped into chaos of Pearl Harbor 1941. 7:50 a.m. Pre-attack Pearl Harbor is still calm. The Pacific Fleet is at anchor, but 200 miles north, Japanese carrier launch over 350 aircrafts in two attack waves. Historically, the American never saw them coming, but this time the Zumwalt does. Its spy radar arrays detect the incoming strike before it's even close to Oahu. Japanese pilots flying in loose formation, completely undetectable by 1941 radar, are lit up on Zumwalt's combat screens. A warning goes out, siren blare across the harbor, crews scramble to battle station, anti-aircraft gunners are awake and ready long before the first plane crosses the coastline. 7:55 a.m. First wave. The first Japanese bombers appears over the horizon. Normally they would catch the Americans completely by surprise. This time they are flying straight into a storm. Zumwalt Aegis system locks onto the lead formation. SM-2 missiles streak into the sky. Weapons that don't exist for another 40 years. Within seconds, the first wave is torn apart, mid-air. Aircraft explode before they even reach Pearl Harbor. Pilots who expect no resistance are met with a wall of fire and radar-guided death. Those that survive press forward, but they are flying into a nightmare. The Zumwalt 155 mm guns open fire, lobbing guided shells that intercept low-flying torpedo bombers before they can even release their payloads. Its close-in weapon system track and shred attacks with radar-controlled bursts. The once one-sided ambush is now a duel, one the Japanese weren't prepared for. 8:10 a.m. Counterattack. Historically, by this point, the USS Arizona was already a smoking ruin. But now, with many torpedo bombers destroyed before they can launch, most of the battleships are still afloat. The Oklahoma and West Virginia are still hit, but far fewer bombs and torpedoes find their targets. Some will move out of a harbor at flank speed, its radar still tracking incoming waves. Tomahawk missiles scream toward Japanese planes forming up for a second attack. Several are destroyed before they even reach Pearl Harbor airspace. Meanwhile, Japanese pilots try to adapt. Dive bombers peel away from the fleet and attempt to target the strange angular warship now carving through the bay. But they are hopelessly outmatched. Surface-to-air missiles tear them apart before they get close. 8:30 a.m. The second wave by now panic spreads across the Japanese formations. Their losses are staggering. Communication breaks down as planes are shot down faster than they can maneuver. The second wave, which historically inflicted devastating damage, barely scratched the fleet. USS Zumwalt now goes on the offensive. Using radar data, it triangulates the direction of the Japanese carrier task force hundreds of miles away. While it can't reach them directly with its guns, it launches long-range cruise missiles, weapons that can fly further and faster than anything the Japanese have ever seen. At least one missile slams into a destroyer escorting the carrier fleet and another hits a cruiser. Japanese commanders are stunned. They had believed their fleet untouchable at this distance. 9:15 a.m. Japanese retreat with hundreds of planes destroyed and fuel running low. Japanese commanders make the only choice they can: retreat. The carrier turned northeast, abandoning the attack before the planned third wave can launch. Pearl Harbor is scared but not shattered. The Arizona is still lost, but most of the battleship survive. The dry docks, fuel depots, and repair facilities, which historically remained untouched, are still intact. And most importantly, the Pacific Fleet's carrier base remains combat capable. But then the problem began. The Zumwalt is powerful, but like the Abram tank dropped into World War II on our previous video, it's also a logistical nightmare. Its missiles are gone after a few salvos. Its advanced radar system require maintenance tools and components that don't exist in 1941. Its engine need modern fuel and support crews. And while it can destroy aircraft and even strike ships at long range, it can't fight an entire nation navy alone. Japan still fields hundreds of ships and thousands of planes. The war doesn't end in one day. But the strategic balance is completely different. The Pacific Fleet survives far stronger, American morale skyrockets, and instead of starting the war crippled, the US Navy is ready to fight back immediately. The aftermath. The attack on Pearl Harbor was meant to destroy America's will to fight. Instead, it would become Japan's worst miscalculation. With the Zumwalt technology and firepower tripping the scales, the Pacific War would start with Japan on the back foot. Carriers that would have taken months to repair are ready for battle within weeks. Early offensive in the Pacific happen faster. Japan's island defense face advanced missile strikes before they can be forfeited. And America's dominance at sea, something that historically took years to achieve, could happen in months. So, what do you think? Would a single 21st century destroyer have changed the Pacific War entirely, or just delayed the inevitable? And if you're curious, what would happen if a modern tank fought in World War I? Click the video on your screen now. Thanks for watching.